Hi team, and welcome to another TEAMCPNZ Quick Connect Podcast where you can stay informed, keep connected and learn from one another along the way as well. I'm your team captain, Richard Greer, on today's podcast, we're going to tackle part 2 of our 2-part series around the World Tri Champs that happened in Pontevedra, Spain only a week or two ago. Part 1 was all about Tim Raw and his experience when he tackled the Aquabike. Actually ended up 4th in the world, which is a pretty epic achievement. So if you haven't caught that, there was a great chat with Tim. Make sure you jump back to part 1. Today is all about Sarah Shanks in part 2 and her journey to the Worlds and what it was like to actually take part in this epic event on the other side of the world. So Sarah's journey was quite different from Tim. Tim sort of had a plan and he qualified a long time ago and knew that this was his goal. Whereas Sarah it wasn't even on her radar until April, when she got a call up to say, do you want to do this? You've actually qualified. Oh, have I qualified? I wasn't really even sure that was a thing. And basically it come down to the fact of, well, there's an opportunity here. We only live once. Maybe we should have a crack at it. And things managed to fall in place. A number of things managed to fall in place, which meant that she trained the house down and had an awesome crack at being in the best possible shape that she could, and therefore stood on that start line, swam, mountain biked, and trail run around the course. So we're going to talk to Sarah in just a moment. But before we do, a quick update with our Tour de France challenge that's going on over the course of July. Things are starting to heat up on the leaderboard. First of all, well done for everyone for being involved in this. Number 1 is your goal, your challenge. Can you make it? And I just talked to Vicky earlier today, and she is actually still on the top of the leaderboard, but she's not actually concentrating about the leaderboard at all. Her goal is 30% of the Tour de France, which is a pretty big challenge for that. So that's a good, haven't got off the top of my head what that is, but it's a lot in terms of distance and climbing. She's currently on 10,000 almost, 9,987 vertical meters, and she's ridden 605Ks over the course of about 16 days in July. The goal is to stay healthy and stay well, not necessarily go hard all the time, just kind of chip away and keep things going. So well done to Vicky for still being in the lead. Steve Gallo has powered his way into the top 3 with a monster week, climbing 10,000 vertical meters last week and logging 650 Ks or distance points to secure his second place. And Shiraz Mulholland continues to rack up the distance, already at almost 1,000 distance points as well with all the biking that she's been doing. But don't blink. Luke, Craig, Gary, Jean, Victoria G are all within striking distance as the month unfolds as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that all unfolds. But hopefully you're tracking well, ticking those things off, and make sure you do the vertical meters and the distance, and make sure you double check the app to make sure that's all coming through. I am sliding back down the leaderboard, but I will be back after a couple of days off last week being crook. So without further ado, let's jump across to our chat with Sarah and hear about her journey to the World Champs and what that's all about and how she found it. Over to you, Sarah. Sarah, welcome back to New Zealand. How are you feeling? What did you arrive back, 3 days ago? A couple of sleeps ago? Where are you at the moment?
Yeah, a couple of sleeps ago. Arrived back on Sunday afternoon into Gisborne.
Yep. After flying from Spain to London to Singapore to Auckland to New Zealand.
Pretty much. Lucky enough to have a couple of days in London to break up the Spain to New Zealand trip.
Right.
But, yeah,
okay.
It's nice. A long way.
It's a long way. How many hours of traveling time was that?
Oh, it feels like a week.
Okay. Yes, yeah. But you just do it. It is what it is.
It is. Yeah, it's nice to sit on a plane and not have anything else to worry about for 11, 12, 14 hours, and you can just watch movies and eat and sleep. It's great.
Do whatever. Yeah, that's awesome. That's good. We'll get to that anyway. But we're going to talk today about, as we've mentioned in the intro, about your fantastic performance at the World Triathlon Champs, where you represented New Zealand in your age group for the Cross Tri. Do you want to tell us a little bit more? What is the Cross Tri?
A Cross Tri is swim, obviously, and a mountain bike ride, and then a trail run.
Yep. So what sort of distances are we doing? How long was each discipline taking you around about?
Swim was okay. The mountain bike ride was 30 Ks, and the run was 7.5.
Right. Okay. So got a bit of a feel for that. And you qualified in Rotorua in the Xterra event in April. So tell us a little bit about that. And obviously, as a result of that event, you got this letter to say, do you want to go to Worlds and represent New Zealand? Tell us about that day and the decision-making process around taking that spot and committing to the World Champs in Spain.
Well, went to Xterra with no expectations of doing anything other than just having a great day. And then a couple of days later, I got an email from Mal at TRINZ saying that I had got a spot and qualified. And I replied with, I think you have the wrong person.
Yeah.
And she reassured me that she did not. So, I don't think it really took me all that long to decide whether I was going to go or not. And then just saw it was a really cool opportunity to have an awesome adventure, packing up my bike and going on the other side of the world to do what I love to do. So there's something about that, isn't it? Packing your bike up and going to explore a different place to ride your bike and as you say, have an adventure. How good. So were there anything sort of that in terms of that decision-making process, you're like, yep, I'm going to go? It wasn't that straightforward though, was it? No, it wasn't. Mainly because I have torn my rotator cuff in my right shoulder. So I was a little bit, was in the process of talking to the surgeon on when possibly a surgery date might be and the kind of the steps, the next steps of that. When I qualified and then thought to myself, oh, well, I managed to qualify broken. I might as well go over there, give it my best shot broken, and then back and rebuild and go again in the summer. So there were a few little steps along the way that I had to get over before actually getting on the plane, but it all worked out. So
that's right. So you kind of committed, like obviously made that decision. Let's commit. Let's train. But then it was only like 3 weeks ago or so, or a few weeks before you left, when you actually saw the surgeon, and he said, "Yep, that'll be fine. Go for it." So it was still kind of up in the air till quite last minute.
It was. In my head, I was sort of going anyway, but then when the surgeon, who is a guy that's done coast to coast a couple of times and is an athlete himself, really did understand the need to go, maybe.
What it was about.
You're not going to hurt it anymore. You can't damage what I've damaged anymore. So go, have a time of your life and come back.
Good job. How good. So how was your build-up with all things considered? How did you go?
Cram training, panicked training sometimes to get everything into the point where I felt like I was fitter standing on the start line in Spain compared to standing on the start line in Rotorua Xterra. So that was good, but that pressure, self-applied pressure to get it done was exactly what I needed to do. So very good. Yeah.
It's good. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of fear to help motivate you to actually get out the door and get your shoes on and go doing some running and biking and things.
Yeah. I think this is really scary, but this is really scary for all of the right reasons. So excited, scary. So how were you feeling on the start line? And also, what were the conditions like in Spain? Conditions were hot.
Yep.
So hot. Different hot to New Zealand, but they were certainly hot when you're out riding your bike or running with no shade. Conditions, the lake temperature was 25 degrees. It was like almost getting into a warm bath, which was a bit odd. And so, of course, no wetsuit swim. But that probably made me more nervous than the actual getting in the water and just getting the whole thing done.
The lack of wetsuit made you more nervous?
Yeah. Haven't really swum open water without one on. So, but got it done. It wasn't pretty.
And were you able to do any practices swimming? Were you able to get in the lake at all beforehand?
Could have done, but I never got there. I think I was just more focused on my kind of goal was to survive the swim and make it up on the bike in the run. So you never made it to the venue for a swim recce, but did for a bike recce.
Okay, right. So all your eggs in the bike basket by the sounds of that. So the swim, how did it go?
Like I mentioned, it wasn't pretty, but got to the end.
Okay. Yep. So got into T1, and I'm just kind of a bit relieved to be there, and it's game on at that stage. Is that sort of how it was going?
Yes. Yep. Ran up the ramp out of the lake thinking, oh, I'm pleased that's done.
Yes. Yeah, good stuff. And biking is your strength. How was that mountain bike? What was it like, and how did you find it?
The bike was like biking on 4-wheel drive tracks with quite large rocks, and it was really dusty, which made it quite slippery and going around corners. And the climbs, although they weren't long, they were really pinchy climbs that took a lot out of the legs. But it was fun. It was really fun.
And was there much traffic around? Because you're in an age group that you're competing with, but is it all the women go together in the event? So you've got all the other age groups on course at the same time? Yeah.
So you got all the young ones that are in front of you, and then you've got the amazing older athletes that are coming up behind you. So there was pressure to keep going and not slow down, but also the pressure on yourself to catch the next person in front of you going up the hills. And it was a 2-lap course. So, yeah. Yep.
So did that traffic become an issue at all on the mountain bike?
And on the first lap, trying to get up those climbs without getting off and pushing with people stopping in front of you. But by the time the second lap came round, the field had stretched out a little bit. So that was the goal, just to bike up all of the climbs on the second lap, which I managed to do. So, yeah.
And did you pass anybody on the downhill? Because you go pretty well on your mountain bike. A bit of a kamikaze approach. Did you pass anybody going down on the mountain bike?
Yes.
That's what I like to hear. Well done. That's good. So feeling pretty good about life, I'd imagine, at that stage. And you've definitely got the red mist going on. It's like, right, race time.
Yeah. Your world's no bigger than the end of your handlebars, right? It's run it down the hills, up the hills.
Yeah, good. And you've still got all your skin on? You didn't lose any during your bike ride?
No, didn't lose any. No, managed to stay on. Yep.
Fantastic. So getting off the bike, you put a lot of effort into that. How were you feeling getting off for your run? Were your legs cooked, or were you like, okay, no, I'm ready for a run now? How were you going?
My legs were cooked. Running out of transition. And then there was a little climb up the hill to sort of the top of a bridge. And I was thinking to myself, I don't know about that goal of trying to climb up every climb on the bike ride, but there was quite a nice gradual downhill across the bridge before the trail of the run started, which was just what my legs needed, a bit of a rest, and then hit the trails and I was away.
Yeah, nice, good. And what was the run course like? A trail run opposed to running on the road?
Yes, trail run, 4-wheel drive track, gravel track with quite a couple of quite good climbs. I don't know what the vertical meter or anything like that was for the climb, but some of them were quite pinchy climbs.
Yes. Yeah, good stuff. And what was the vibe like through the transition areas and out on course? What was it like at the World Champs and with the black triathlon NZ suit on?
So cool. Yeah, it was really cool. I have been lucky enough in my life to have gone to some pretty large sporting events, and the vibe was the same. There was noise and there were people and there was activity, and it was such a cool experience. Yeah. And because you're doing a trail run, I'd imagine you'd get away from that a little bit. You'd have a little bit of time sort of through the bush and things. So it would almost contrast quite a lot. Like you're in it and then you sort of got a bit of time on your own a little bit as well. Yeah. But for half of the run, you could hear the finish line. So you didn't feel, although you were sort of in the hills and the trees on a trail run, you could still hear the vibe that was going on at the finish line that you knew you were eventually going to get to at the end of the day. And that was really cool. It was really cool.
Yeah, nice. So speaking of eventually at the finish line, and being out in the bush by yourself a little bit. Was there ever a time that you doubted your navigation on the course?
Yes. Every race that I do, I always find myself alone, wondering where all of the other participants and athletes are and have I gone the right way. But you just kind of just keep following your nose. You eventually see a marshal or a flag putting you in the right direction, or another athlete you put up to.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you did a lap and then you got close to the finish line, then you had to do an out and back to finish that off. That was the bit that you doubted your navigation as you keep running away from the finish line.
Yeah, and it was what felt like 10 times longer than what I had anticipated it was going to be. So I found myself in a very, I don't know, not demoralized, but a very slumped state of mind running away from the finish line.
Yeah, pretty happy to finally find that cone to go around to start coming back again to the finish line. That's good. How did it feel crossing that finish line?
Oh, it was amazing. It was really... it was all sorts of emotions, relief, all sorts of stoke for just the opportunity to be there. Grateful for the help of yourself and people that look after my kids, and just that allowed me to be where I was. It was so cool.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. That's fantastic. And in terms of, I guess, putting it all together and reflecting on it, what are some key things that you've taken away from that experience? Obviously, an experience that you'll never forget.
Mm-hmm. Probably the key takeaway for me is it reminded me the joy I have in the consistency of training and the fruits of that consistency. I think that is the biggest lesson that I learned from qualifying in April to running across the finish line in Spain. It was that consistency is my best friend.
Yes.
The consistency in my life. So that's the biggest takeaway for me.
Yeah, and it's so good, isn't it, to be able to have, as you mentioned, there was a bit of fear factor in training for this thing, and you got a big goal that you're shooting for, and it just manages to, because you've got this thing, it manages to kind of align the rest of your life. You're a good human as a result of doing your training and doing good positive stuff. Yeah,
and even sometimes in days where it was hard or difficult to get away and do it, it was just putting that consistency at the front. That was the thing that was really important, because if I can be consistent with this, I can be consistent with other things in other areas of my life. So that became a real driver, and it was just what I needed.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome, and so good to get that medal and to celebrate that one. So speaking of celebrating, have you celebrated? How did you celebrate? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Have I celebrated? My auntie back in London bought a bottle of bubbles, and we had a glass or two of bubbles, so that was quite good.
Yeah, good. Clink the glasses together. And where to from here, Sarah? What's happening now? Have you got your surgery booked in that you were supposed to have, sort of thing, with your shoulder that's kind of hanging half off?
Yeah. Well, those wheels of getting the shoulder actually repaired move extremely slowly. Yeah. And I don't have the patience to sit around and put any goals or anything that I want on hold while I wait for that. So the goals come first, and the shoulder will somewhere fit in between those goals. So it's, kind of coming up with a plan with you with what event is next and what do we do and how do we get there.
So basically you're just going to go, I'm going to just have a crack at anything and everything now, it feels like. And if you all of a sudden have to get your shoulder sorted, that will happen, but we'll kind of mission on to the next adventure. Yep.
Yes.
How good. And one last question I need to ask, because we do this in every podcast, this Community Connect podcast, is this slide of how cooked were you when you got across the finish line? The cooked toast slide of 1, I was completely burnt, shot to bits. 9, I was kind of just warming up almost. How were you? What number would you give it?
I reckon I was about a 2.5.
Okay, that's pretty cooked. That's good. I like to hear that. Like, you want to put it all out there, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't do things by halves, or we try not to.
Yeah, fantastic. That's awesome. Well done, Sarah. Well done. 7th in the world, and it's not just. I mean, the impressive thing about that is that you flew all the way around the world for it, but also you had like all of Europe. Like Europe, it was in Europe. So, and that's a huge place for triathlon in the world. So to be able to achieve that for you and your age group is pretty impressive. Off the back of obviously you had a really good 3-month training block. So. Yeah, I guess the sky's the limit. It's exciting to see what you might actually be able to achieve as you continue forward.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm excited. It's still, just would love to know what my limit is. So yeah. I don't know that yet. I haven't found that out. So
yeah.
Look to
right. That's our job. We'll check in maybe on this podcast next year and see what you get up to. And hopefully you haven't. We don't really. Do we want to find it? Well, not really, but we want to kind of keep pushing and asking those questions, don't we?
Yeah. Just asking the question.
Mm-hmm. Nice work. Well, thank you so much for your time, Sarah. Well done on a fantastic event and adventure, and getting all the way around the world, making that work. Well done for all those people that help you out get there as well. And do you have your medal with you? I can see a few things around the place that you're some race hats and bibs and things hanging up. Have we got a medal?
Well, I can get the medal. It's just on the wall.
That's right. I was disappointed that you weren't wearing it. Actually, we should have worked that out.
Yeah, I've got my race plate for my bike. Does that?
Oh, there you go. How good is that? That's awesome. Good stuff. Well, thank you very much, and we'll catch up with you soon, Sarah.
Cool. Thank you, Richard.
Cool. Thanks, heaps.
Bye.